mic closer here.
And we're going to start today by telling you that if you look over here in the, I'm going to paste it, I'm going to post it again, is the way to try to divide your screen up so that it looks, so that you'll be able to follow along with this presentation a little bit better, is if you can get your screen to look like that, because I'm going to give you a URL right now to the other page that you're going to want to split this with. If you've got two monitors, just drag one of them off to the other monitor. Or if you want, you can open up another tab and you can open it from an iPhone. We're going to answer those questions. We have a question and answer after we get through this part of it. Teach Cal is that I'm going to get into the meat of it here in about, I'll give you about a minute to go ahead and get those screens set up so that when you go to that page, you're going to see the presentation that I'm going to be going through, which also means that you'll be able to share that with your friends and that you'll be able to go over there and watch this afterwards. And it is actually timed. It's set so that each one of the slides advance like every minute. But I'll probably be doing it more than that. That was interesting. Y'all gonna have to. Mosquito come buzzing around my head. I'm sorry. Okay, so now.
And two, I want to tell everybody out there that's signing, can they hear me? I moved the microphone right in front of me here. So if we can get a yes, if you can hear me out there, or a Y, that would be great.
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Well, it looks like maybe the people in the listening audience weren't able to hear me. So I got it right up to my face now. So that should be.
So we're going to, this particular blab is going to be about how to host a blab. And it's approximately 30 minutes on how to use or host a blab. Follow along with the presentation. No Blabus Interruptus. It comes on weekdays at 10 o'clock. We have one every day about either how to use or how to host a blab. And today is going to be about how to host a blab. And if you click on the presentation, it'll move. I'll tell you to click as we move through this. It'll tell you that the Circadians, we're a community that isn't built around an individual. We live, work, and thrive in a guru-free zone. Everybody's equal, everybody matters, and everyone has their own special gift. The sum of those gifts is greater than any one individual. If you look along the bottom, you'll see the little orange button is going to be to go to the website. The Facebook page, the Google Plus is the G Plus. The Twitter link will take you there, and then there is a link to the YouTube channel, which is where these blabs go afterwards. Now then, the first thing that we want to do is we want to tell a little bird. And the way that you'll do that is over on the left-hand side. There is a little tell a little bird link. Click on that, and it will tweet out to your followers that there's a blab going on that concerns itself with how to host a blab. The Circadians create event-driven, outcome-oriented business building platforms like broadcast websites, training programs, and more, but mostly we just operate in a guru-free zone. We welcome the opportunity to elaborate on that. You can just send an email to Stan at the Circadians, and I'll answer that and get back with you. Event-driven means like this is the event. You're in the event right now. Outcome-oriented is at the end of the 25 minutes, we want you to have a very good concept about how to host a blab and some of the things that you can do within a blab. And so I'm going to click again, which will advance. I'm going to tell you each time so you'll know to advance to the next screen. And I just am introducing this. This is going to be new to a lot of the Circadians, is that this is the it's part of the manifesto that I created for our group. And if you want to read that, it basically says commit to deliver your message in the life that you've been given, inspire others to action and be inspired by it, respect everything for you, the value that it is, communicate clearly. If asked, answer. If answering, be clear. accept responsibility for your life without being selfish, deliver on your promise, and make no excuses for failure. Excuses. Integrity before pride. Appreciate the now because everything is exactly as it should be. Never accept mediocrity as a benchmark. I hear that all the time. I could go into depth on each one of these, but smiles open closed doors, minds and hearts. So give them freely. So now I'm going to click and go to the next screen.
Hey Stan, a question. Because this is new for me as well here. Now, I was clicking myself. So are the listeners to be clicking or because it wasn't moving, but when I clicked the arrow, it moved.
I gave the link to, there's a link to this presentation and to divide your screen up.
That's the one that I have open, and I saw the little arrows, and I can manually click and move forward, but it wasn't automatically clicking on my screen.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, so when you were reading, and I'm going, okay, what's he reading? And I saw the little arrows to the lower left there, and I'm on slide 4. I had to click that arrow to move the slides. They weren't automatically moving for me.
Right. You have to click. That's what when I say click, that means
so the listener needs to be clicking. Okay, I didn't know if it was going to be when you clicked that it clicked for everybody. Okay.
No. When I click, we could do that, but then we'd be doing a screen share.
No, that's fine. Just so we know, because I said I didn't know if anybody else out there was still just kind of sitting waiting, or if they've been able to use it. I mean, I have it up. That was it. Obviously, it is good. I have 2 screens, so it makes it easy.
My screen's like way over there on the side, so I can't really do that. But
okay.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I presumed that everybody knew to click on that slideshow.
Right.
Okay. The rules of Blab says respect each other, honor the viewer's time, let others talk, don't be an awful person to be around, argue the point, not the person, and the host sets the rules to the party unless they conflict with those rules. What that means is it's okay to say, Stan, I don't understand why this isn't moving. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's not okay to say, Stan, I don't understand what I'm doing. You're an idiot, right? So that's arguing the person rather than the point. So I'm going to click and go to the next slide. And in this, we have these links will work for you. These links will take you to the people that we follow and the people that we, keep up with, to kind of keep up with what's going on. Blab, Eileen Smith and Roxanne's in there, and Boomy is in there. So is Mark Levy, Chef Dennis, looks like Nazim and Dutch Driver in this also. But you can follow those people. There'll be links directly to their Blab or to their profiles from that presentation. Click again, and you'll see that this is how you start a Blab. If you go to your profile page, you'll see up on the top your image, and you'll click that image and you'll see that thing that says start a new Blab. You can either click the image or you can just simply click on the purple button there. Now I'm going to click and advance the screen again. And this screen is going to show you, this is the first screen that you'll see when you click start a new Blab. And everything's kind of grayed out. You can't really do anything until you click the screen. And let's advance to the next one. Once you fill out the subject line, yes. Once you set up the subject line, that when you type that in, the other stuff will become available to you. The numbers on the right represent the characters in your title. You can have 80 characters in your title, and so once you do that, you can go to the next screen. Click, and you'll go to the next screen. And that once you fill in the title, the tags will become available to you. You can do 3 tags, or you can do 1 tag. But you have to do at least one tag before the next thing will become available to you. And so when you pick out a single tag, and we'll click and go to the next screen, that the live button becomes available to you, so that you could either go live or you could do it in the future. Now they added if you're looking at the screen right now, if you're looking at the presentation, you'll see a thing that says you can add a custom image to your Blab here. I just added that screen this morning. That's why it's a little bit off between the screen before this one and this one. is that it's only recently that they have added the ability to put a custom image on your blab. And there's a little thing there that says choose file, and you just go to browse to your drive and pick up the image that you want to put in there. That image is 1,000 pixels wide by 450 pixels tall. And so that's where you would add that custom image like that one that we had on this one. So now I'm going to click the image again. I'm going to move to slide number 12 is what I'm on. Because I'm not going to go live, I'm just going to pick a time and a date to schedule your blab. And so I'm going to tell you here that once you pick that time, well, I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to go back to this when we finish. But when you finish I want to talk about this while we're on this page. When you finish setting up your blab and you decide that you're going to go edit it and change the time and do something different, when you go back, you're going to have it's just going to say edit. You can start the blab or you can edit. And I don't have a screenshot of this. The slideshow, can somebody give him the link to that?
I'll see if I can find it.
I've got it right here.
I got it. You got it? All right.
Well, yeah, but it'd be easier if you could go ahead and grab that for me.
I got it. Hold on.
All right.
Or just keep going.
All right. So when you go back and you hit the edit, and you go into your blab, it'll bring up all the settings again. The biggest thing that confuses me about that is the 24-hour clock. Just make sure that you look at, like if I'm set for tomorrow, if I was to go in and edit the one for tomorrow, which we have at 10 o'clock, and I left the settings the way they are for some odd reason when I left, because it says today, because it's within that 24-hour period. If you go ahead and say update blab, which is at the very bottom of it, it's going to say you can't time travel. And so you have to actually pick tomorrow when it's kind of, you'll see it when you go in and edit it. Just remember that don't let it stop you from editing it or changing it. You can go in. I changed, I don't know how many times the image to the blabs, trying to figure out what I wanted to make sure. If you look at our image to our blab, you'll see at the bottom of it, there's a black line. And that black line is there because that's where they put the title to the blab. So I left all that dark below it so that would show up where somebody could read that without me having to actually put the title of the blab on the image that I was creating. That gave me more room and more things. That gave me more room to be able to put on those images things that I thought was important. So now I'm going to click to the next image. Once you pick out your time, I'm going to click, and I'm now on slide 13. If you select now, the blab starts. If you choose a date in the future, this screen appears, which is the one that tells you how far off it is. And that's changed a little bit too since they did it, but it tells you, it's 20 hours, 24 minutes, and 45 seconds away. And I'm going to click again, and I'm going to go to the next slide, number 14. Once you start a blab, you must join, and you'll see this screen. When you go back to your blab, you're going to see a thing that says start now, and you're going to see a thing that says edit. You'll see a couple other things. But once you start it, you're going to be taken into the blab, and but it's just going to sit there. You're going to have to join the blab yourself to actually get it started. And so that's what you do. You go and hit join, and you'll see that screen. And from that screen, it'll have that question down there if you want to tweet to all your followers, which I do at that point. So now I'm going to slide 15. And now you're in the blab, and you can lock the other seat if you want. I'm going to lock the one below us, and now you'll see that same thing with a little locked, master lock kind of looking thing. And that means that the seats are locked and nobody else can come in. So that's what a locked seat looks like. And that's how you do it, is there'll be a thing on your screen that says lock the seat. Now I'm going to go to slide 16. When people ask to join, you're going to see a screen that this shows you the screen that you'll see, and you can click the green arrow to accept them or the red one to disallow them. And it still looks exactly like that. It only thing is that the X is the yes, the green link, the green check mark, and the X are really close together. So for me, it's kind of hard. And I've got a 28-inch screen, so for me, 28 inch. I'll measure later, but anyway, maybe 32. But anyway, those are, even with a lot of resolution, they're so close, it's difficult for me to see that. I'm going to get those questions in just a second. Are they on podcast? I'm going to get to that question in just a second about the image too. I'm going to go to slide 17. And this is what it looks like when someone joins the Blab. Like you see Mike in the Blab right now, and you see the thing below us that says that well, actually now you probably don't see anything. You may see the locked seat. I'm not sure. But
nope. I mean, I see the lock seat. It's in there.
But you are a host, and
I'm
I noticed I noticed yesterday from the audience. Right. I was looking at one, and it didn't even have the lock there.
Correct.
There's a different view from the host and from a person that's watching it from the outside. So
you are correct, sir.
Thank you. Okay, the guest has a G in their profile. To make so if right now Mike's got an H in his profile there, that means he's a co-host. That's a process that we go through. That's a process we go through when we set these things up. We make sure that the actual host for these is not even here right now. We use a different account to set up the host, and then we set up the co-host so that if something happens to me or something happens to Mike or anybody that's supposed to be hosting that day, somebody else can still get in and host the Blab, because we have the material already worked out. To make them a host, though, you would click on their name. I'm going to go to slide 18. To make someone a co-host, click on the name in their profile. Like on Mike, you would click on that Mike Shaheen in his image there, and it would bring up a box that's going to look like slide 19. You'll see an image like this. See the H on the top left with the plus sign? That's how you make them a co-host. Click it once and they'll become a co-host. Click it twice and you'll remove the co-host from them. So you don't have, if you accidentally make somebody a co-host, you can remove that. You can also make somebody a co-host from the top bar or from the comment stream. So now I'm going to go to slide 20 and roll over the H, and you'll see the co-host dialog box. That just kind of tells you what we just went through. I'm going to go to slide 21. Now they are co-host. They'll have an H beside their profile like Mike has on his and like I have on mine, probably right there. Now I'm going to go to slide 22. Let's take a look at the comments in the stream. If you roll over the comments, you'll see the star and the arrow. That's how you acknowledge them or reply to them. Them clicking on the X and the red triangle will remove their comment. For example, I am going to look at Mike Shaheen's, and he just said, "Everyone tell a little bird." And I'm going to click the star, and now that number turns to 2 because Michelle had already. I used the phrase plussed it, but given it some props, and now it's got 4 on it, which tells me that Lindsay. If I roll over there, I'll see that Lindsay, Nina, me, and Michelle have all gone over there and give it props. And then if I want to reply to it, I hit that little arrow there next to it that automatically puts his name in it. But if you look over at the presentation, you'll see a little red kind of a triangle over on the right-hand side in that comment box. That's what I have on all mine. Only the host and co-host have those, which gives Mike the ability, if somebody puts something in there and I'm not watching it, it gives him the ability to remove his post or remove that post. Now I'm going to hit that X on Mike's and remove that post that he did. So now that post has gone over on the right-hand side, which means if somebody comes in, I see it all the time. Well, I don't see it in here very much, but I see people go into different blabs and they'll say things and it just stays there the whole time. So that's how you remove that. I'm going to click and go to the next screen. When someone types a question in the comment stream on the right, and you'll see the arrow, and they use a cue, for example, how do you create the image? Is it automatically then moves that over into the left-hand side where the questions are. And I'm going to show you how that works here in just a second. If you click on, for example, Liam said, where do I get the slideshow? And if I click on and star that question, it moves up, and now Roxanne's question is one below it. And if you look at the numbers, that's because Al's got 2 stars on his, and Liam has got 1 star on his. So if 2 more people can click on Liam's and increase the number on and do what's called upvoting, you'll see that it moved up to the top. So that's how you can see what people kind of really want to be are paying attention to it, can see what they want to get answered. Now I'm going to click on answer a question, which is going to bring that up right here in the middle so that I can answer that question and that everybody can see what we're talking about. And that is actually on screen number 24 on the slideshow. It's slide number 24. So now that we've answered that question, there's a little X box. If you look at a little X up in the top of that box, if you look on the slideshow, you'll see that. I'll hit that and it'll be removed. Now there is a link there that says pin again, which would allow me to pin it again, but I'm not going to at this time. All right, now on slide 25, if you click the picture, it'll bring up the screen where you can report and block them from this blab stream. This is not a global block. If I click on Mike Shaheen's name, I'll see if you look at the slideshow, you'll see an H on one side and a little like a caution sign or something on the right-hand side. If I click that, I will block him from this blab and it will kick him out. He can go to any other blab he wants to because it's not global, but he would be kicked out of your blab in that case. Now I'm going to go to slide 27. Just click the start recording button and the blab will be recorded. That shows the top left-hand side of your blab. When you go in there, I probably am going to move this actually closer to the front of this presentation. This is the first time we've done it. If you click the start recording button, the blab will be recorded. And while recording, the buttons will say pause recording. You can stop and start the recording during your blab. If I wanted to stop the recording right now and, say give out the secret to the universe, I could do that and then restart it. But I'm not going to give out the secret to the universe. Not right now, not on a public blab. All right, so I'm going to have to ask Jeb, Nora. I'm going to go to slide 27. You can also see someone's profile by rolling over their image on the top. In other words, anytime you see one of these images, if you roll over the top of it, you're going to see everything else that we have, everything that's associated, anything that you can do from the sidebar. Anytime you can roll over and get their profile image, you're going to be presented with that same dialog box. I'm going to go to slide 28, and this is after the blab is over. And if it was recorded, there's a link to upload it to YouTube. And the answer to that is not anymore. They've taken that away. So I'm going to show you. You're still going to, so that you can see what's going to happen, because they are going to come back. They are going to bring it back. But that when they bring it back, like in my case, managing multiple on number 29, I've clicked the thing that says send it, upload it to YouTube. And so the next screen that that's going to bring to me is going to be a list of different YouTube channels that I own or manage for people. That's why I show this screen, is because I know that people do this. They have 5, 10, 15, well, let's say 2, 3. They got 2 or 3 different profiles, got 2 or 3 different YouTube channels, they got 2 or 3 different things going on, and they're always having to log in and log out and all that kind of stuff. One of my really actual strengths is networking and how this stuff works on the back end on this part of it. So what I'm showing you here is that if it's set up correctly, then when you go to upload it to YouTube, I could upload this to Mike's. I could upload it to Nora's. I could upload it to anybody that's given me that we've set up that arrangement. I've gone in and done it. So, but you can only upload it to one. So the next screen, number 30, after the blab is over, you'll get an email with links to download your audio, podcast, and video. Everybody's asking right now, how do I upload it to YouTube? Well, just you have to download it and then upload it. It's not the most optimal way to do it. It was a lot easier with that link. But what I used this email for was I would use the upload, which only works once, to upload to YouTube. Then I would use this one to download. I go ahead and get that one started and send it up to the Circadian YouTube channel. And then when I got this email in, I would download it to my drive so that I could put it in other places if I wanted to. That's on slide 30. I'm going to go to 31. And I'm not going to ask you to click this right now, but that is actually a video that's going to tell you, that's going to tell you a little bit about us. It's going to tell you how to get in touch with us and kind of what we do. And then the slide 32 is going to be just a slide where you can click and send me an email and ask questions. So now I am going to close that window down. And now I'm going to go over and answer some questions. How do I create the image? What I use is Canva, because Canva allows me to create a template like any imaging program does. I mean, I do use Fireworks. I use Photoshop sometimes. It just depends on how hard the job is. But in this case, I used Canva, and I didn't use the dimensions that I used a custom dimension, and I made the template there so that all I have to really do is drag an image over. And Canva, it has like a frame in it where you drag images into it, and somebody give him the link to that.
It's there. Link's there.
Okay. And I'm sorry I didn't highlight that. I'm going to unlock the seat too. If Michelle, if any of the Circadians want to come in and tell a little bit about yourself while I'm finishing up on some of these questions, that'd be great. But is that with Canva has like a Canva has like a template, has a frame. And so I set up all of the text that I wanted. And then I used the frame to just drag a different image over there. And because I left the bottom of it where it's dark and there's no text in that, whenever I upload that image to custom image, the text is actually put on the show from the title of the show. So I don't have to actually put the title. I don't have to put the title of the show on there. And it saves me a lot of time. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Stan. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Michelle.
I am a Circadian, and I help out with some links in the background here. But I have to say that this presentation, as someone looking in on the outside, was a lot nicer to follow, much more informative this way. I really liked it.
Well, thanks.
Nice job.
Thank you. But I want to know about you.
You want to know about me?
Yes.
Like I said, I'm a Circadian, and I am learning a lot in the Circadian group. And what I plan to do with the knowledge that I learned from all you brilliant people is to take that information and help me with my passion, which is dementia support and awareness. My mother has the disease for 16 years. I help administer a Facebook group that has about 13,000 members of advocates, patients, and caregivers, and I just want to help people. That's it.
And she's also one of the best wranglers we got over there on the side.
I thank you.
Yeah, she does a good job keeping the comments kind of straight for us and helping with putting this is a team effort. The Circadian, we're a group of people that believe that everyone is equal, everyone matters, and that the total of our group is greater than the individual. I'll be creating a slideshow on that pretty shortly too, but everybody is important. We know we live in a guru-free zone. That's pretty much it. Yeah, and it's right. 24-hour. The circadian is actually got its name from a group. I managed a group for Chris Brogan, and I created that group based off of this thing that you have to do. The belief that if you get into a habit of doing things every day like this, we do it at 10 o'clock every day. We do these at 10 o'clock every day. So
10 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Eastern, just so
Eastern time, which is where I live. And so I'm glad when I get corrected like that, because I got to remember that. But anyway, that's the Circadians, a group of people that believe we're all equal. How about you, Lindsay?
How about me? Hi, Michelle. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Hi, Stan.
Hey, man.
My name is Lindsay Allen. I'm an untied Circadian. I am unretired. I'm on a lot of stuff. This month, I'm involved with NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writers Month, which I am trying to write 50,000 words in 30 days. I'm ahead of schedule right now. I'm writing about one of the things I really enjoy, and that's World of Warcraft. I'm creating a warlock. Lest you think I'm being frivolous, this is one of the attempts of mine to thwart dementia and Alzheimer's and loss of memory and old dude's disease and things like that. So I'm enjoying associating with my circadian peers. We meet every weekday morning, as was said, and it's a really good way to start today. So I've probably done my 30 seconds, and I will scoot out of here. Bye.
Well, thanks, Lindsay. I'm going to bring this up in just a second. I'm going to put Mike's question in here, the Liberate Leaders. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that, too. Hey, Nina. Nina is the circadian. She has a circadian community in Europe. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I appreciate the multifunctional way of the circadians you demonstrated. I think you didn't use the legs today. Do you have something?
I didn't use the what?
The legs, because we had the eyes, ears, mouth. We are reading, listening, watching, but we didn't use our legs.
You're going to have to add, we need to stand up during the presentation.
Yeah. We'll have to get Mia Voss in here and we'll do what's on the bottom, which I'm not going to do. Mostly because my camera, when she interviewed me one time and I told her that I wasn't going to do the what's on the bottom thing, which by the way is where you stand up and you show what you're wearing below, and I can't do it because I don't have a wide angle lens. So
yeah, but it was really a great demonstration how you can have all of your attention with all of your way of communication engaged. My name is Nina. I'm a Google expert. I discovered that I'm a fast learner, and learning is a tool that can serve other people also have their goals achieved. So I'm like a human extension of a way, and I'm happy to do that. I'm from Sofia, Bulgaria, and I'm helping businesses on their digital experience. I have created a blab for Saturday. I used the hosting learning on the circadians we did. I created the image. It took me a long time because I couldn't choose it because it's very visual and I wanted it to be clear. Otherwise, for the steps, it was straightforward. So thank you to all of you.
So Nina, just to clarify, it didn't take you a long. What took you a long time is deciding the image you wanted to use, not the process.
Yeah, the process was straightforward, but my mind was busy choosing. I took my daughter's image. Don't tell her. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Did she sign the release form?
No.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about that. She's not in the U.S., man. They don't have the
It's
same kind of
just
stuff.
life
I don't know.
streaming system.
I would suspect they have attorneys in Bulgaria.
Yeah, but they don't have the same thing as we do, same kind of stuff. Well, thank you, Nina.
Yeah, we have. Okay, thank you too. It was great being around with you guys. Thank you for supporting me.
What she actually did this morning too. There's two things that we have a 10 o'clock. We also have a 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time thing called the clinic. And in the clinic every morning at 9 o'clock, we get together and you can screen share because we use Google Hangouts for that. And it's much easier to get through this kind of stuff where you're trying to figure out how things work. And she brought us up to date on the changes that were done on Google Plus and the settings and how that's going to work. And we're going to get a little bit more into that. She is really very good on collections, which means that, Google's not officially said that they are indexing them yet. That's all I'll say about that. But she's very, very good at collections. And then she also brought out a point that I want to make is that on Friday, I'm going to have I started last Friday having a blab called Focus on Friday. And or the Friday on Focus Blab, Friday Focus Blab, and that blab is about how to make quick decisions. It's every Friday at 12 o'clock. Last week's guest was the Ben Franklin. This week's guest is going to be Robert Frost, and we go. Allegra Stein and I actually talk about for 30 minutes. We talk about how to make things a lot easier because the more decisions you have to make, like in Nina's, when she was talking about one of the reasons I use templates in that case is because it doesn't take me long. It takes me about 2 minutes. And the less time that you can spend on, and the less decisions that you have to make in a day, then the clearer your head is and the more you can focus on stuff because you don't get pulled into, was this going to be perfect? So you do it the best that you can. And in my case, I do it the best I can. And I use a template further down the road. And I'm going to bring up this question from Roxanne. Is who on podcast? I don't know who she's talking about. She can come in if she's still here.
Stan, I'm taking that is this going to be on a podcast? So
that's the next step. We're gonna do that. She says, kids, are they on podcast? Well, I actually the site that I went through, that's a really good question. The site that I went through does not convert to a podcast. So I'm guessing probably not because when I said that they may not be able to drive yet, they were young. They weren't 12 or anything like that, but it was kind of a joke. I don't think anybody was over 22 or 23, but where we have 30 people up here, right? Or we have 15 people here and 30 people have visited today. There was 3,500 in one joint. You don't see that very much of that on Blab. You'll see it every now and then, but not very often. So I don't think that they are actually doing a podcast over there. Yes, that's the link to the, and then I'm going to answer. Anybody else got any questions that they want to come in or talk about and ask? This is the first time that we've done this particular broadcast, and it's been interesting for sure. I may actually, don't hold me to this, but I may actually wind up going ahead and creating a screen share and do it within the framework of Blab, but it makes it much harder to read.
Right, because now you're getting people to wonder. Now I got to go buy another monitor.
Well, no, they can if they can go and look at learnblab.com and they can go through that blog link on the blog and they'll be able to see that right. Anytime they get ready to. But we just ran a blab, got 18 viewers, feeling pretty pleased with ourselves, wondering how best to promote our next blab. Well, this is my second day back on this particular show. We'll probably get back up to, numbers about 100 or so on each one. The best we ever had was 170. But what happened was I dropped off of doing we making them live on Facebook, embedding them on Facebook, embedding them on the website, embedding them into a Twitter card and all that kind of stuff. I just wasn't doing any of that on a daily, consistent basis. And so
can I add something on that one too? Just because what I was doing on some of the blabs that I'm on is, who's that? Steven Silk. When you are either a guest or certainly when you host, you'll get the link and then you can just post away. You can copy and paste that link to your Twitter account, to your, well, if it's scheduled, it's going to show up to your Facebook, to your LinkedIn. I mean, you can get out there and promote it by taking the link that Blab provides for you after you are either going to attend a Blab that you think people might be interested in or are hosting a Blab.
Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the Twitter card. If you just go to Twitter and actually just search for Twitter card, Google it, probably it'll come up, but we won't have time to go into how the images and all that stuff. That's the kind of stuff that we do in the clinic each day. If you want to find out more about that and the co-hosting program, go to learnblab.com/co-host. I told you Michelle was really good. You'll see the link over there that you go over there, and then I'll get in touch with you and talk about how that works in the mornings and how you can get involved with us. But tomorrow we'll be going over best practices, which was originally created by a guy from me. It's right here. From Belize, Bill Graham. And the best practices talks about, muting your mics and getting in and getting your sound check and all that stuff done before the Blab starts, which is what that guy is in the co-host program right now. So we'll get all the sound checks and everything like that. Yeah, that's actually one of the things that you find is it's exactly the opposite when you're inside the screen. It's not what you think. So, yes, if you like the Blab, if you like what we've done, go to SL. Michelle's put the link down. Go to sl.stanbush.net/reviews. We like 5-star reviews more than we do 1-star reviews, but we'll take what we can get because we really want to know the feedback from you. That about how we can improve what we're doing. We do not get into the deep stuff in our Blabs. Those we get into in the clinics. But before you leave,
also put in there what you would like to see, what you'd like to learn, what you're interested in.
Yep, exactly right. Now I'm going to go over something since we've got a couple of minutes. I'm going to roll over these on the top. I already know. Let me see, Tora. See. For me, it's the third one from the right. You'll see Tora Spraggs. And Tora, she's an exciting person. You should follow her. I follow her. I would suggest that you follow her. I would suggest you follow me. I would suggest that you follow Mike, Lindsay, and Michelle, and Nina. Because there are various Blabs that we're going to be getting into here in the next probably by the first of the year. But the point is, when you look at Taurus, there's also Vanessa up there. She's got her link there. I follow her. I would suggest that you follow her. She got me, this is about hosting a Blab, but where Vanessa got me was in this bio. When you roll over her name, you'll see that her actual username is Unleash the Fear. And that is a really powerful statement. But she's got a link. Both her and Nora have got enough in their bio to interest you, and then they have a link. You can use the little bird to get to their Twitter account, but they've got a link to their website where you can find out more about them. And that's really, I don't know about everybody else, but I don't do the follow back thing. I go and look. Everybody that I follow, I look at, because there's enough noise out there in social media without having to follow stuff that it's okay to say I'm not interested in something, so there it is. All right. Thank you, Stephen, for the follow. And let me go look and see what he does. Marketer and technology innovator, co-founder, technology delivering emotional analytics application still one of the good guys. Yeah, I get that. And I am going to click on the little bird, which will take me to his Twitter account, and I'm going to follow him. That's just the way that it's done. So I am going to close this out. If nobody's got any other questions, and you guys can get in touch with us and join us in the circadian community where all the people are friendly, all the dreams are a little bit bigger, and all the futures are a little bit brighter. Thank y'all.